Hello, everyone. My name is Kwamia Ross, and today I am going to argue why I believe there should be laws imposed against those who practice witchcraft and commit crimes against people using the occult realm and any type of magic. Now, if y'all heard of a woman named Candace Lightner, she started the organization MAD, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. She started that due to her 13-year-old daughter being killed by a drunk driver. This drunk driver had been arrested many times, had multiple drunk driving offenses, but somehow he was still able to be free and have his license and drive around. So due to this injustice, Candace Lightner used that experience to start a nonprofit organization and argue against and have laws and enforce against drunk driving. And that has caused a lot of change. As you also know, recently in 2020, Derek Chauvin was arrested and charged for the murder of George Floyd. This was a corrupt police officer who used his authority to pretty much he had an illegal hold on Floyd, and he placed his knee on his neck. And this was all documented through video. This hadn't been on video, he would have gotten away with it. Now, he'd had a history of about 12 or 13 years of getting away with committing abuse to other people and using his authority to pretty much do unjust things and use his power. Now, I'm bringing these instances up because people wonder why I talk about witchcraft all the time, why I make videos exposing the kingdom of darkness. I've been a long time victim of attacks, multiple attacks against me, my children, my family, from those who dabble in witchcraft and occult, use sorcery, magic, all those who have worked and dealt in the occult realm. All types of crimes have been committed against me and my family. Crimes from attempted murder, sexual abuse and assault, molestation, rape, stalking, harassment, theft. People have actually followed us in the spirit realm. Vandalism of our property. Things have been our property has been damaged, including my cars. And I'm speaking out now because, the injustice can't continue. And I'm not the only one who's been a victim of this. There are multiple people who are unable to get help because they have been victimized by people utilizing black magic, utilizing witchcraft, sorcery, santeria, all types of things, utilizing demonic power. And they've gotten away with this because there are no laws against this. And I'm arguing today that there should be laws. And I'm going to give you the reasons why. Now, first, this witchcraft and sorcery is an abomination. In God's eyes, it is something that is abhorred. It is something that he tells his people not to do. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up God, because a lot of people might say, okay, well, we're not Christians, we don't have to listen to that. But as you know, in the country of America, you have laws that derive from Christianity, that derive from the laws that are in the Bible. You say, in God we trust. When you're in court, you have to swear an oath, and you have to raise your right hand, and you swear, and they use the Bible to swear. You pray. When you pray for something to happen, you pray. They use the line, I pray. And all these laws, if you think about it, it talks in the Bible about thou shalt not kill. And guess what? It's illegal to murder someone. And the Bible says not to steal. If you steal something and you go to jail for theft, you can go to jail for all types of petty acts involving stealing. And then also it talks in the Bible about thou shalt not commit adultery, meaning you shouldn't have sex or be unfaithful on your spouse. Guess what? Here in the country of America, you can actually legally get a divorce from your spouse. And if there are cases of cheating, there's evidence proof that your spouse has cheated on you. So why is it that our country has laws against everything that God abhors, except when it comes to witchcraft, that type of abomination? Now, witchcraft is something that can do severe damage, which I am going to be presenting here in this case. Now, I know back in the 1600s, they had the Salem trials, which a lot of witches had been persecuted. Some were wrongfully persecuted and killed. Now, I'm not saying things should be to that extreme. There should not be murdering of witches, but there should be legal consequences and charges if there's evidence that people have used witchcraft to hurt people. Like I said, if I get into an argument with someone and I go out and use a weapon, whether it be a knife or a gun or something to assault that person, guess what? They're going to come and investigate me because I was the last person who got in an argument with that person. If they find evidence that I did it, I would get punished and locked up. So people can go to jail every day for doing certain crimes in the physical realm, but there are people who have actually admitted to having altercations with others or getting revenge on others and using witchcraft to harm them, to kill them, to destroy their lives, to assault them, to do all kinds of things. Now, if we have laws laws protecting our rights, then there should be laws protecting the rights of people when there's violations committed against them using witchcraft and sorcery. Whether you do it in the spiritual realm, like I always say, or whether you do it in the physical realm, crime is crime. Now, another thing I want to bring up, because I have written notes about this. Now, a lot of people say that witchcraft isn't real, or it's not proven by science. Okay, we've heard this before when it comes to God. Yes, they say scientifically, there's no proven fact that God exists. Somehow, this world just, there was a big bang and evolution came and we're all here. Okay, some people actually believe that. They believe in science, they believe in facts. But guess what I want to bring forth here? Even though God has not been scientifically proven to exist, there's no scientific evidence for his existence. There's millions of people who actually believe in the religion of Christianity. There have been doctors and scientists who have actually admitted that certain things have happened, certain supernatural events and miracles, what they would claim as miracles, when people have been revived somehow on the operating table when they were supposed to die, or they have come back to life. There have been a lot of events where people have said that has made them believe in God. And these have been people who believe in sciences, believe in science, doctors, all types of evidence. And just because there's no scientific proof that there's a God, like I said, there's Christianity. United States of America has accepted the religion of Christianity. Since you've accepted that, then why can you not accept the fact that witchcraft exists when there's all types of accounts of it in the Bible? It talks about it all throughout the Bible. It talks about witchcraft and sorcery and the acts of people performing sorcery. It talks about there being a sorcerer, a well-known sorcerer in the Bible by the name of Simon. And also, you can actually use religion in court cases. There have been people who have won court battles. Right now, there are laws that are tied to Christianity. So how is it that you can refuse to accept the fact that witchcraft exists? There's Satan in the Bible, and witchcraft is something that is done through, the powers of Satan. Now, if we don't believe there's no scientific fact of God, yes, you just have to trust and believe that it does exist. And people have been able to do that. So therefore, we should also have laws imposed to go against witchcraft, which is something that is used in the Bible, which is something that is used by Satan, which is something that God has actually talked about in this Bible, in the King James Version of the Bible, that many millions of Christians have used to this day. Now, another reason why using witchcraft in a way to hurt people should not be allowed, and there should be laws against it, it's because it goes against people's free will. Now, there have been accounts of people who practice love spells on others. They cause people's mind they control people's emotions, where they want people to fall in love with them. If that person would not have wanted them without the witchcraft spells or curses, it is a violation of that person's right. No one should have the right to violate someone else's mind and control their emotions and their will. God gave us free will. No one can go up to you and force you to be with someone. And if someone wants to date you and you say no, can they legally go to your home and force you to go out with them? So this is what witches are doing every day. Sorcerers are going against people's rights, and they're violating their rights by putting spells on them, using concocting up potions and saying chants and using demonic power and powers from gods and demons to control and influence the emotions of others. And that should be illegal. Now, I'm going to be showing proof and evidence of all these things here in this video if you continue to watch. Now, another reason why I say that witchcraft should be illegal, the practices of it when it violates someone else's right. Now, if you want freedom of religion, that's great, that's fine. But your freedom of religion should not allow you to impose on my rights or violate me or my family or cause harm to us. And that is what people have been doing. They have been taking advantage of this, and they have been using witchcraft to pretty much violate others and cause harm to others. And another reason why witchcraft, or there should be laws against witchcraft, or a way to use it, is because, there's laws with everything we have. If you think about using a computer, people get on the internet. You have crimes against cyberbullying and harassment or hacking. There's laws because people can use things, but they can use it in the wrong way. There are parameters set and rules imposed so people can use it in a way that makes it safe for themselves and others. When people can just do witchcraft all willy-nilly, with there not being any consequences, where there not being any laws or rules imposed, then it becomes dangerous to others and also to themselves. There have been accounts of people who have used witchcraft, who have dabbled in it, who have been novices, meaning they don't know much about it. They're beginners. They have cast spells that end up hurting themselves, had adverse effects on them and on the victims who they were targeting. So people have died as a result of this. Now, and also some people are just, they're disturbed emotionally, they're mentally imbalanced. So should these people have something like witchcraft in the palms of their hands and be able to utilize this? Like I said, using witchcraft in the hands of a wrong person is like giving a loaded gun to a child or to someone who does not have a license to use it. They don't know how to use it, and they can't control themselves emotionally and mentally. There are people out here who will use witchcraft to hurt people for no reason or for the slightest offense, because that's just how they are. They're unstable in their emotions, they're unstable in their minds. And they will go out here, and there have been accounts of people who put spells on people or curse people or hurt people with something they've done to them, and they're taking the law into their own hands. And this is something where I feel like, as those leaders in our country, he should be enforcing laws against this. There should be rules and regulations. If you want to practice witchcraft or sorcery or use magic, yes, there should be laws on how to do it. And there should be people who are protected against those who choose to do it in the wrong way or those who choose to take advantage of it. Now, like I said, I am going to be posting all of this. I'm speaking vehemently about this because I myself have been a victim of it. You do not know how it feels until you are a victim of something. So I am urging people to just open their eyes and to get a different perspective and to understand how it feels to be in bondage. I have had people destroy my looks, have people put curse on me to cause me to be ugly. I have people put curse on me to cause my teeth to fall out and to rot. I have had people put curse on me to make me fat and overweight to the point where I could not lose weight. I kept gaining weight. Yes, there's a such thing as people putting curse on people, make them supernaturally gain weight. No matter what they do, their bodies are resistant to weight loss. They could fast, they could go dieting, they could eat healthy, they could exercise as much as they want, exercise excessively, and they still will not lose weight. This is putting people in bondage. My children have gone ill. There have been instances of people having unexplained illnesses. My children, I made a video where my daughter was once vomiting, could not stop. She kept getting sick in school, missing all these days. We go to the doctor, no one could find anything wrong. And so I recorded a video exposing it. Then suddenly it stopped. I have had heart problems to the point where I felt like I was going to die, but I was in great shape and no one could explain it. I would go to see cardiologists and I'd be the youngest one inside the doctor's office. Everyone else there was in their 70s and 80s and they're looking at me like, what's going on? And they would run these tests on me, do EKGs and all types of tests on my heart, and they could not find anything wrong, but yet I was still suffering because it was something that was a spiritual attack. And there have been Satanists who have confessed to this, which I am about to show you in one of these clips, that there are spiritual attacks that could cause people to have illnesses that are unexplained. But it's something that is done in the spiritual realm. That's why I say this is something that is dangerous, and witchcraft should not be allowed to be practiced with to liberation, where you're not held accountable for things you do. When there's evidence, when people have evidence that they know someone has attacked them or done something to them or caused pain or suffering for their families, have stolen for them or cause a death of their loved one or family member, someone they know, there should be laws imposed where they could have charges filed against them and even file lawsuits against these people. Because this has to stop. If there are not consequences or there are not changes in the laws, and those who are in positions of authority who have an obligation to protect the public and society, then this is going to keep going on. People are going to keep being hurt. You have an obligation as the leaders in this country to protect your U.S. citizens, and they are not being protected because people are practicing witchcraft. And guess what? There are also people who are in the political, who are in position of authority, who are in the government offices, who are in police offices, who actually do this as well. And that's why it's so hard to get laws to stop these things from happening. Now, also here, like I said, people are taking the law into their own hands. If someone offends you or does something to you where you feel they should be punished, you're supposed to get legal authority to intervene. We can't go out and shoot someone who offended us or hurt someone or take matters to our hands if someone hurts, someone we love. We could do that, but we would get in trouble for doing that. So why is it okay for someone to do this and use sorcery and witchcraft to attack someone? And there have been people who have done this for like I said, minor offenses. They have given us people crimes for a lifetime for small minor offenses that didn't deserve it. It's like when you hear cases of people going to jail for 30 years for stealing something when they were a child. This is unfair, and people have held us to these unfair laws. I myself have had someone curse me and attack me for years for a minor offense that I might have committed as a child, didn't even realize I did it or remembered anymore, because I might have laughed at a joke someone said about someone. It's like these things it's extreme. It's extreme cases where I said some of these people are mentally unstable and they have emotional issues, and they should not be allowed to just liberally practice witchcraft. They should not, because they're causing harm to others. Now, another thing here, people might use the excuse that, yes, there are witches who have been raised into this and been groomed since they were children, and my heart goes out to those people. But that is not an excuse to continue to punish others, to continue to walk in that way when you know right from wrong. Just like there are impoverished children in the black neighborhoods who grow up surrounded by drug and alcohol use, gang violence, and they grow up to commit crimes because that's all they've ever seen. But these children are locked up. They're not given mercy. They're not given sympathy. They're locked up and put in jail for committing these crimes, regardless of how they were raised or the background that they come from. So there should not be excuse for people to practice witchcraft because they come from an abusive environment or they were raised to practice witchcraft from a young age. There should be laws imposed, and people should start being accountable for their actions when they reach a certain age of accountability. Now, I'm going to present here. There is an ex-Satanist who's very famous, became an evangelist, gave his heart over to God. He's making penance for all the things he has done. And he has been exposing things that he has done in the kingdom of darkness and things that happen every day in the kingdom of darkness. And he has been, he was an avid Satanist, a worshiper of Satan for over 20 years. So he knows a lot about it. I'm also going to be presenting evidence where I have found on sites where people posted things talking about witchcraft. And I have put together a petition. So I do urge you to sign this petition. There's going to be a link for you all to sign the petition here. To sign a petition to get laws enforced. I'm not saying, like I said, that witchcraft should be illegal. I'm saying there should be laws presented against certain ways that witchcraft is used. Yes, driving is not illegal, but drunk driving is. Okay, using a computer is not illegal, but hacking into someone's intellectual property that is on a computer, or hacking into getting access to someone's computer and their passwords and things and stealing their information on a computer is illegal. So that's what I'm talking about. When you're using witchcraft in a certain way to hurt others and to commit crimes, these are actual crimes, then there should be laws enforced and imposed. Now, I'm going to insert these videos here.
Thank you so much for tuning into Faith with Flavor. I am so honored to introduce to you the man of the hour, none other than Evangelist John Ramirez. Evangelist, thank you so much for being here, John. Thank you for having
me here. It's amazing to be on your show.
Well, let's get right into it.
Amen.
Let's talk about your upbringing. What was it like growing up in your home?
I think growing up in my home, because it was so demonic. And some people grow up in homes that are dysfunctional. I grew up demonic, dysfunctional home. My father, so everything in my house was silent pain. You know, you had to pretend you were happy. You had to pretend that things were good. And my home was run by demons and witches and warlocks. My father was a demonic warlock. They were run by demonic spirits. I would see spirits in my house like I would see you in person. I mean, roam around the house. You feel the devil's presence in the house. It was growing up and then going to witchcraft church at the age of 8, all the way to the from 8 years old. I was going to witchcraft church, right? And this is the demonic. The crazy thing about it, from 7 in the evening to 5 in the morning. Demonic church. I was already being groomed, and I was being prepared, and I was being putting in a place that the devil wanted to use me for his kingdom.
You know, there was a point where you ended up, worshiping Satan. Mm-hmm. How did you get to that place?
You know, one of the trickiest, one of the most delusional tricks that the devil has for humankind, that he knows one thing, how to penetrate the camp of every human being. He makes everything cultural. So in my world, Santeria, Espiritismo, Palomayumbe, going to botanicas, going to misa, going to centros, going to these places, it was a cultural thing because, all Hispanic people, they wanted to worship saints. All Hispanic people wanted to light up candles. All Hispanic people wanted good luck. And they wanted good luck. They wanted to be blessed, So this is the way we should do it. But that was a trap of the devil because for 25 years, I lived in demonic, the highest level of witchcraft, demonic, in the kingdom of darkness. Even to the point that I would sit with Satan, like I sit with you, to get my orders, my marching orders, to chase the church, to chase the people, and bring people to the dark side so they won't reach the cross of Jesus Christ.
I was listening to an interview that you did with CBN, and I was so amazed at the part where you said that you used to go to different regions. Tell us about what you would do when you would go to those different regions.
My assignment was, I would recruit people during the day. I would do witchcraft during the day on people. I would try to hit you from all four sizes, so you had nowhere to breathe. In night, I would astral project and go to neighborhoods, because you see, I know if I can curse the neighborhood, if I can put different demons in that neighborhood, I can paralyze the neighborhood from moving forward in the spirit realm, because whatever you paralyze in the spirit realm and control in the spirit realm, it happens in the natural.
Now, as you heard in that video, this man said he would go after Christians. They target Christians. He was raised up in it. So there are people who are being raised and groomed as small children. He's also said he would astral project, leave his body, leave his body, physical body, and go in the spiritual realm to neighborhoods and speak curses over territories and regions that will affect the people in the neighborhoods. And don't think that this is only done in regions and territories. People can actually do these things and go into astral projecting other people's homes, individuals' homes, and speak curses over those people who they want to hurt and destroy and attack over individual people. They can trespass in people's houses, which is something I speak about a lot in many videos. I've gave instances of people where a man was astral projected into my home, which things would come up. I would have, marks on my body, cuts, things would end up missing. I would wake up feeling that somebody had been strangling me or doing things to me. Sometimes my dress, my nightgown would be pushed all the way up, or I'd be in a different position than when I had gone to sleep, and I'd be moved like inches or almost a couple feet away from where I actually fell asleep. And I slept with my door locked and closed. And I knew someone had been coming and astral projecting. I gave accounts of instances of all this, but I'm bringing forth the proof that an actual Satanist who was actually admitted to these things happening, because people called me crazy. They took my children out of the home and said that, I had these beliefs that were not real. This is what they said. Children and Family Services, the judges in the courts, when they took my kids out of the home. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to let you listen to this man and bring forth more evidence.
John Ramirez grew up in the Bronx, where his relatives practiced Santeria.
My father's side came from a family of witches and warlocks. My father was very heavy into Santeria, very heavy into spiritualism.
John longed for a relationship with his dad, but his father was abusive.
There was no love, there was no compassion. We watched him beat my mother in the house. He came in drunk most of the time, demanding stuff, asking for stuff. If things wasn't done a certain way, it was always put down, hurtful words, dummy, stupid, you're gonna amount to nothing, that kind of stuff. I would just stand by the door and look and see what he was up to, because I was looking to see if there was time for me. Just to have interaction, right? We did something, my dad and I did something. But he was connected to the demons, he was connected to spiritualism.
John's mother was also influenced by Santeria. At his aunt's suggestion, she took John to a tarot card reading.
The lady sent the cards. I had 30 days to do the ceremony, or I would be blind. So my mother, as a good mother, didn't want nothing to happen to her son, so we did it. They blindfolded me, did a bath for me with herbs, and they started chanting and calling the 5 main god demons from Santeria.
From that moment, John's life changed.
My whole personality, everything who I stand for as a young boy, was no longer there. I felt like someone took a black blanket and just put it right over me, spiritually. I wasn't answering not only to my mom and my dad, but I was answering to the demons.
John's involvement with Santeria deepened quickly.
I was being taught and trained with high-ranked devil worshippers into spiritualism. I went to sneaking into funerals, acting like I knew the person that died because I wanted to buy the soul of that person that died, because I can get that soul and put it on somebody and die the same way. When drug dealers got killed in the street, I wanted to run out and get the blood because I can use that human blood to do witchcraft.
John says Satan became the father he never had. John was devoted to him.
I light up my candles, I spit the rum, I spit the cigar smoke. The cigar smoke means power. If I didn't have money for a rooster, I'd cut myself and use my own blood and pour it in. The whole atmosphere of the room changes. And you know there's something there. And then when it's there, you have to dress them like a family member. My father, I'm here. What would you like to speak to me about? What is it that you want me to do?
As time went on, John also practiced the dark arts outside his apartment. He preyed on Christians in particular.
At the clubs, I would go around looking for Christians.
And I knew that in the club, you was in the devil's playground. So I knew that if I can get into it and you had a beer tour already in your system, I knew all I had to do was just say, listen, I have something to tell you today. And right now you will open the door and you said, what is it you need to tell me? You gave me gateway.
Eventually, John became a high priest in Palo Mayombe, a form of African spiritualism. As he became more powerful, John took warfare seriously.
The devil told me that I had to go into the neighborhood in the spirit realm in order to weaken it in the natural. Whatever you kill in the spirit realm, you can kill in the natural. So I will leave my body home and astral project myself into different boroughs, different regions, different states, different countries. And as I follow the neighborhood, I would speak curses into the neighborhood, speak things that I wanted to happen into the neighborhood.
So as you can see, as by the testimony of John Ramirez, who was an ex-Satanist for 20-some years, was raised and groomed in an early age, about age 7 or 8 years old, and was a high priest, could astral project out of his body and go to different countries, different states. There was no limits of the distance he could travel spiritually and wreak havoc and put curses on people. And the fact that I have gave accounts of this, like I said, I have posted blogs, I have posted videos about people astral projecting in my home, following me in my home, where I felt violated. I would wake up and I could tell someone has done things to me. I could tell that someone had been in my home. I would feel someone in my home watching me or looking at me, or feel there would be no explained there would be instances where that could not be explained, where I would bump into something or someone was there. I could feel something there. I would see flies all over the house, where the Lord was showing me these were people monitoring the spiritual realm. People could just transform themselves or even send some type of monitoring spirits to harass me and spy on me and my household, to watch what I'm doing and to take things out of my home to use against me. And there are instances where people admit to being able to use DNA when they're trying to perform rituals and spells. It's more effective to have the DNA of someone. And so when I would wake up with these cuts, the Lord was letting me know that there were people who were actually taking my blood. They were drawing my blood, taking things that belonged to me. I would have clothing that I would take off my body, or clothing that I would wear all the time would end up missing. Certain things that were my possession, jewelry and things like that, that would end up missing. I couldn't find it for weeks at a time. Then it would just appear suddenly out of nowhere, and people were using these things in the spiritual realm. So I'll let you continue to listen further as this man continues to give his account of everything he's to do as a Satanist.
We're back with John Ramirez, a former high priest of Satan who practiced witchcraft to curse people and entire regions. John, help me understand how, in your mind, it was a good thing to do, to be like cursing regions and putting curses on people.
To me, it was I was on an assignment, a demonic assignment. So I wanted, I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to live on the edge. I wanted to live in a world of darkness, in a world of acceptance. I lived in this world to put witchcraft on people and justify, well, this person did bad, he deserves this. This person's not living right, he deserves this punishment. So I have ways to justify the witchcraft, the tormenting thing, or put witchcraft on people so they can get forced surgery. People go to doctor these days and they go to specialists and they check themselves, right? And they say, the doctor say, I have this, I have that. The person saying, the doctor checks them, and that's, we did so many tests, we did an MRI, we don't find nothing on you, you look okay, but the person says, I'm still sick, I'm still going through it. So it could be spiritual.
You have people write you all the time that are in a dark world, that are having things attack them that in their mind, intellectual mind, shouldn't exist, and they're thinking that they're going crazy. They can't talk to anyone about it, so they're saying, John, help me. If people have kind of opened the door to dark things and they're being tormented, or they're having experiences that they can't explain, what would you advise them to do?
Sometimes in the intellectual mind, the first thing they tell you, go see the doctor and go get a prescription. Intellectual mind will tell you that. You can drink all the pills you want. If the devil is tormenting you and demons are tormenting you, you can't medicate a demon. That is the reality of it. You can't medicate a demon. You need to, when people are being tormented, I get emails in my ministry. I'm being tormented. I can't sleep at night. Something's grabbing me by my throat. I feel something trying to rip my spirit out of my body. I have these demonic dreams. I had these dreams that they don't go away. I mean, that is demonic. That is supernatural. That is a spirit realm. Even like you said, I mean, the spiritual world is more real than the natural world. how much stuff is going in the spiritual world. I mean, everything has to start in the spirit before you sit in the natural. So all these attacks, I teach people in my book how to pray those things, how to break those curses, how to uproot them, how to break away from if it's generational, if it's something that you open doors because you went to the witch, or you went to read a tarot card reading, or you went to read horoscope, or you play with your Ouija board. I mean, these things entertain demonic forces to come into your life. There's nothing good in that. So when you get captivated by that, now you're in a stronghold, you're in bondage. Now how do I get out of it? My life is so different than any other believer. Not better. We were talking about that earlier today. My life is not better than any other believer. I still pinch myself, and I'm just dumbfounded. Sometimes my life feels so surreal because I can't believe God can save someone like me. I mean, I was like, I deserve hell. I deserve eternal death. I deserve, boxes in hell for my lifestyle, or who I was for 25 years, not 25 days or 25 weeks, 25 years of satanic devil worshiping to the highest level of the satanic realm. I was a general in the kingdom of darkness. There was no Christian, believe it or not, that was able to stand by the power of darkness that I had in me. Not because their God wasn't all powerful, because their God was all powerful, but the vessel was weak. The vessel was weak. The vessel was fragmented. The vessel was leaking. And the vessel didn't have no arsenals to fight back with. That's what happened today, that the church don't have arsenals to fight back with. The church don't know how to put the devil in his place. The church don't know how to set the captives free. The church doesn't know how to teach spiritual warfare. I mean, who did more spiritual warfare than Jesus Christ himself when he walked the earth? Jesus cast out devil, healed the sick, and Jesus to confront every demonic devil you can even imagine on his ministry. So how is it that the church today, we're not confronting the devil head on? We talk about the devil on Sunday. But we don't confront the devil. We don't confront the devil because you know what? Either you don't confront the devil because you don't know spiritual warfare, or you don't confront the devil because you're in bed with the devil. And you can't cast out a devil that you're sleeping with. If you're sleeping with a devil, you can't cast him out because you're going to need him the next week. Amen. So we need what hurts me the most before I get into my testimony, because my testimony is gonna be real raw tonight. I'm gonna share some things I never share. But the thing is that Christians are sitting, good Christian, awesome brothers, sisters, sitting in the church fragmented, hurt, pain, mentally destroyed in their mind. Because one thing about the devil, one thing about witchcraft, if you can't beat the devil here, you can't beat him in the battlefield. If you can't beat him here, you can't beat him in the battle. A lot of Christians go to the battlefield to fight, but they're defeated here. You see? So if the devil has space, if the devil is renting real estate in your mind, if he has strongholds in your mind, he has pattern cycles of repeat of things that you still captured by in your mind. So you capture in your mind. So you can't go into the battlefield and fight the good fight because you're already defeated here. So a lot of times Christians go into the battlefield unequipped. Unequipped. No armor. And the armor is really that put on the Holy Spirit. Put on the Holy Spirit. So here is where the enemy lives. Here, and that's what the Bible says. Do you have the mind of Christ? So I want to set up a platform to let the people know that it was so easy for me to destroy Christians. Wow. It was so easy for me to captivate Christians' mind, thought, will, and emotions in the spiritual realm, because I knew how to step into the spiritual realm, change the channel in your mind, come back to the spiritual realm, and then change your mind, will, emotions, go back in and change it. And then all I made you was a spiritual corpse. You was a spiritual corpse after I was done, because I understand words got power. See, in the demonic realm, words got power. The Bible says that life and death lays in your tongue, Proverbs 18:21. And I know that we know that in the spirit realm. We know that in the demonic. We know in the demonic the words got power. Matter of fact, if you can, in the demonic, if we have money for witchcraft, like animal blood, black roosters, candles, coffin boxes, because we need coffin boxes to put people in, to put them. See, I can take it. I was able to take a coffin box and put your personality in it, with your name in there, your character in there, and watch it for 21 days. Put black candles around 21 days, and then speak into your life, whether it's cancer, speak death into suicide, oppression, depression. And I was able to transfer that into the natural man of who you were. If I had a picture, if I had clothing, I was able to capture that into. Or if I wanted to make you homosexual, I know how to release a homosexual spirit on you. I know. See, it's a homosexuality. You're not born with that. That's a spirit. So I know how to release that. I know how to release perversion spirits on people. I know how to release, in the marriages. I know how to release discord in the marriages, division in marriage, divorce, spirit husband, spirit wives. I would release the spirit of lust in the marriage. I could destroy the marriages. I gave people miscarriages. I destroyed the baby in the womb because I knew that the baby was the church of the Lord Jesus Christ in the womb. So I worked with witchcraft so the baby can die in the womb. So I came from a place of, and I want to just go into the testimony, even to the point that the number 21 in the kingdom of darkness means python. In the kingdom of darkness, Timbala. Timbala is an African deity, named African deity Timbala. That's the same serpent that showed up in the Garden of Eden that I had a contract with. So I, out of the 25 years as a devil worshiper, I was possessed by that spirit.
As you can see, John Ramirez stated in the last video how he could put illnesses on people, where people could go to the doctor and it was something spiritual, where the doctor wouldn't find anything. Just as the same case with me, when people put attacks out on me and I would go to the cardiologist and no one could see anything, everyone would say I'm fine, but yet I was having problems breathing. Every time I would walk, I would feel my heart as if it was slowing down, or as if I was dying. Sometimes my heart would speed up and I would have all these problems. I'd be have shortness of breath, even though I was in great shape. And I would go to the doctor and no one could ever find anything. Or when my children were being attacked, like I said, and when my children would go to school, they would get attacked, or I would be on jobs where they would attack me and my children spiritually, and they would get all these unexplained illnesses. My daughter kept vomiting, or she would have something that felt like she had a strep throat, and she would go to the doctor and they wouldn't see anything wrong. And the Lord was telling me, oh, they're putting scorpions in her throat. These are spiritual attacks. And also these spiritual attacks can be used to cause people to have mental problems, where they could feel like, their emotions could be changed. They could have onslaughts of depression or other things, or anxiety. These are all spiritual attacks. And people will say, oh, take medication, or they'll force you to take therapy. Like with social children family services, it forced me to see a therapist, said I had a mental illness, when these are all spiritual attacks. And I knew this before because I was raised in a family where my father was a warlock. He was brought up in the occult realm. I never did anything in the occult, but the Lord revealed to me that I come from a family who had an occult background, and that door was open because of that. And like John Ramirez says, you can take medication all you want to, or go to, none of this stuff is going to work if there's demonic attacks coming up against you. So that's the thing. People are having real, true attacks. People are cursing people or putting demonic spirits on people, causing them to have these instances where they look like they're schizophrenic or bipolar, but these are actual demonic spirits, and people need deliverance. They need to be having these things cast out of them. Now, these things are very detrimental because, like I said, some people have had their children taken from them. They've had their families destroyed, like me. I had my kids taken from me because of these spiritual attacks. There are some people who end up committing suicide because someone is attacking them, or cause demonic attacks to come against them, put spells and hexes on them, and cause them to have suicidal thoughts, or cause them to go crazy and lose their minds. This is really damaging and harming to people, where these sorcerers and witches have gotten away with doing these kind of things. And there, like I said, there should be some type of repercussions for this. There should be some type of consequence or some type of laws imposed and enforced where people cannot be allowed to do these type of things. This stuff is going on, and it's just time now that it stops. Like John Ramirez said, they're preying on Christians. These people are mostly targeting Christians, a vulnerable group of people who we suffer a lot. It says in the Bible that we're going to suffer. But if there's laws against other groups, other demographics from having, discrimination or persecution against them, such as the LGBT group, or laws against minorities, Black people, laws against women, laws for children abuse, there should be for Christians as well, or there should be laws that inhibit people from using the occult and magic arts to attack or afflict or oppress or harm someone in any type of way. There should be laws against that. And I'm speaking out, like I said, because there needs to be exposure. I've gone through so much where, I've had people oppress my family. I've been on jobs where people did not want me there because I was a minority and because of my spiritual beliefs, my beliefs in Christ, and they would attack me. They would use sorcery to attack me. I would start choking and coughing where they would be unexplained. I would feel like something's tickling in my throat, and I knew Lord was showing me that people are loosing witchcraft at me, psychic attacks at me. I would get headaches to the point one time this woman, I told her she touched me. I knew she was a witch, and she ended up making up an excuse to touch me. This is the thing. They assault people, and they want to touch you, or they'll try to transfer spirits on you by hugging you or touching you. And I told her not to touch me. So I went and reported it to Human Resources later on. I was in the training room. This woman gave me a headache that was so painful that I temporarily lost my vision, and I felt like I was going to vomit. My vision completely left. The headache was so excruciating that she assaulted me right there, and my vision temporarily left me. And so it's like people are doing these kind of things. I worked on jobs where my people would affect my work. I would have folders with my documents I needed for work. It would just suddenly disappear, or my computer would shut down numerous times throughout the day for no explained reason while everyone else is doing their work. I would have illnesses come against me, or I would feel people actually losing attacks at me. I would feel something hit me in my head while I'm sitting at my desk, and the Lord was showing me these people are doing attacks at me. And so I was being harassed on the job, and this stuff should not be allowed to go on and happen. And this is why I'm bringing exposure to it, because there should be some laws and some ramifications against these kind of things. These are serious offenses, and people should not be allowed to get away with doing these kind of things. If I cannot get up and physically assault someone on a job, then no one should be allowed to use witchcraft or attack me or make me violently ill on a job. I used to work at a company where I was doing insurance over the phone, and the company did not want me there. There were people there on the job who would actually have customers call in. Customers would call in, and all of a sudden I would get violently ill. They would sit on the phone with me for an extended period of time, more than what was needed, and just talk to me and loose attacks, and to the point where I get off the phone, I would feel like I had to vomit, or I would have to run back and forth to the bathroom, just anything to hinder me from working. And like I said, this is assault. Whether you want to admit it or not, this is assault. I mean, I should be able to work without being oppressed or attacked or afflicted or persecuted. I should be able to be on the job and have peace and be able to do my work without a bunch of people loosing attacks at me to cause me to become physically ill, or my kids should be able to go to school and without having headaches. My son would get attacked spiritually by witches in the classroom. He would have headaches, and I would ask him when he get the headaches, and they would only start at certain periods of the day. When he would go in certain classrooms, all of a sudden he would get a headache. He'd be okay. So all of a sudden he'd walk in this classroom, he'd have a headache, or he'd give me instances of teachers staring at him throughout the day, or a teacher came in his classroom would stare or frequently stare at him. A therapist came in his classroom, he would get sick and go home and vomit. He got to the point where he was a smart boy, and he went from being smart to his intelligence declined. And there's accounts where witches can cast spells or do black magic or whatever they do. I don't know all the specifics of it, but I know it's happening because the Lord revealed it to me. But they can cause people's intelligence to decline. They can attack people's brains, and they can cause illnesses to come on people. And like I said, these things are all assault. And I am bringing this to awareness today because me and my family have suffered. We have not been able to work. I cannot hold jobs, even permanent jobs. I reduce myself to doing rideshare, which I don't even do that much throughout the day. When I try to even deliver or take on those type of jobs, sometimes I'll have pastors who I pick up, sitting in the car, they'll do like this and start attacking me. I'll start choking and coughing. They really don't understand that I know what's going on. But the fact that I work for these companies and I have to be attacked and antagonized in my own vehicle and have these people assault me. They proceeded to assault me while I am delivering, even just to go to a store and deliver, or a restaurant. I've eaten out at restaurants where I've talked before, where I would get food to eat, and also I eat the food and I would become very ill. I would have diarrhea, or I would feel nauseated to the point where I have to vomit. And that these things have all happened. Or sometimes I would have what feels like my throat is closing up or is sore, and it could be allergic reaction. But the Lord was letting me know that these they have scorpions and squids that take on the effect of these things that they're putting inside the food to attack me. And it's like people don't realize that this stuff is actually happening. And like I said, this is assault. If you can't tamper with someone's food physically, and if you can't put poison in people's food, then you shouldn't be allowed to do whatever you're doing to people's food just to attack them because you see a Christian woman coming, or because Satan gives you an assignment to attack or afflict a prophet or a servant who belongs to God. And that is not the only thing. I mean, I have been literally stalked. I mean, people get assignment. They follow me and monitor me spiritually in the spiritual realm, where if I go to a store, all of a sudden, not even 5 minutes later, a host of Satanists will come into that store, follow me around the store, literally follow me around in each aisle, sending attacks to me, attacking me in the store. I can't even do my grocery shopping or focus on my children because I'm being harassed and stalked and followed around the store. Or if I go to another physical location, such as a park or something, or where no one's there, all of a sudden these people will drive up right away. And I've had people actually follow me in a car, ride up on my tail, and proceed to loose attacks at me. I would have to keep speeding to get away from them, or turn the corner. Then I would pray and pray to God and loose forth judgment. But I don't want to do that. But the fact is, you're stalking me and harassing me. You get your assignments and you follow us around the kingdom of darkness. This stuff is illegal, because legally you can't, in the physical realm, you can't stalk someone. You can't monitor someone's whereabouts and follow them around, because that's harassment. But that's what these people have been doing. And I go to sleep at night. Literally, I cannot have a night's of sleep in peace, because literally someone can come and astral project in my home, or send demons to assault me. I feel sometimes where I'm being sodomized. Yes, things going up my anus in the spiritual realm that's not there, but you see something violating you, sexually assaulting you. Sometimes I wake up with the smell of men's semen inside my underwear, even though there's no one there, and I have not had sexual intercourse with anyone in years. I have to walk around sometimes with this cane. I purchased this cane, even though I'm pretty young. I'm not even 50 years old, and I have had to walk with a cane because almost every single night there's an individual who's been practicing black magic and voodoo on me for many years now, will proceed to cut, or I don't know how they do it, but I will feel cuts into my feet, into the bottom of my ankle, the bottom of the heels of my feet. Sometimes my knees, I will feel something striking me in my knees and my bones, to the point where I have a very difficult time getting out of bed, and it's very painful. And I've had to crawl around or hobble, or I've got support. My feet are so damaged that I can't even, after sitting for a long period of time, I have to struggle to get up. It hurts me to stand up. I used to be very athletic. I used to be in shape. It's not like I was just some person with a sedentary lifestyle who just sat around and did nothing. I was out running and running miles and miles a day. I wrote a fitness book where I was in great shape, had done exercise programs through Beachbody such as Insanity, and I was in great physical shape. That has all been ruined. They took that away from me because these people have used sorcery and witchcraft to attack me. I literally have a woman who has stolen my looks. You have people who are envious and jealous or want to look like you. This woman has physically taken my looks. I have people who have attacked my hair, destroyed my hair. My lips, where they have changed shape, gotten darker. My lips are small now. I used to have nice full lips. This woman has taken on the features of my face and taken on things that, just altered my features. People have done these things spiritually. And this is why I'm bringing this forth now, because when there's no exposure, people don't fight, there's no change being made. And I'm not the only one who's being attacked by these instances. There's instances where I have went to a public forum, and I've seen where people have posted about this. There are a lot of people who ask questions of how you can know if you're being attacked. People have suspected that they're being attacked, and there's no one who could fight for them. They can't present these to the court because there's no legal ramifications. There's no laws against this, and there needs to be now. But I'm just going to show you here. I blocked out the names, majority of the names. The last name is hidden and concealed, and a lot of these are anonymous posts. And this is just showing you that I'm not the only one suffering from this. only has the practice of the occult and witchcraft hurt Christians and other people who are targeted individually, but there are also children who have suffered as a result of these occult practices, where you have children being offered up in child sacrifices, or children being sexually abused due to the practice of witchcraft, and there should be laws here to protect these children. Now I'm going to post here an excerpt from a video talking about a girl who actually experienced this, being abused by her own grandmother and other cults of the members of a coven. Here it is now.
To describe this story as horrifying would be an understatement. And if that sounds like a warning, then that's exactly what it's meant to be. It deals with the sexual abuse of children by satanic cults. And not only that, human sacrifices as well. We started investigating these secret satanic cults when a British Member of Parliament linked them with the ritual murder of children. In this day and age, it sounded too far-fetched, as did suggestions that the same thing might be happening in Australia. But then we met Teresa. She's only 15, and for 12 of those years, she's been the victim of relentless depravity. Teresa's story is both shocking and compelling, yet it's a story she's anxious to tell. But again, we should warn you that parts of this report may be distressing.
Friends of family and strangers and my family used to rape me, make me abort the babies I had.
It would be hard to imagine more misery and suffering than what Teresa says she's had to endure.
And us kids would be made to do things with the adults and the animals, and then a sacrifice would happen.
The sacrifice, were these animal sacrifices?
Animals and people.
For the first time, Teresa is learning what it's like to live with love instead of fear. In this quiet English village, with the help of her mother, she's slowly repairing her broken life. Teresa is now 15, but at the age of 2, she was left in the care of this woman, the grandma she called Nan. And that, she says, is when her torment started.
Who was the leader? Who was the boss of the gang, of the cult?
At home it was my nan.
Your Nan made you have sex with animals?
Yeah. Like goats and donkeys.
How many men or how many people would have sex with you?
What, at one time?
Yes.
About everyone who was there, which must have been about 20. You know, from 10 to 20 people. If it was a big ceremony, it used to be 30.
What would your grandma be doing when these men were forcing themselves on you?
Usually laughing. Or smiling. Or having sex with another man. Or other men.
A chronicle of debauchery and depravity so horrific it's hard to believe. You have to ask yourself, could Teresa be just making it up?
No. I know what's true and what's not. No, I know what I saw.
Children don't make up elaborate lies that this would have to be if it was a lie, which I know it is not. It isn't.
This couldn't be a terrible dream, a nightmare that you're reliving?
No. It's no dream. It's a nightmare, but it's not one you can wake up from. It's there all the time.
This really happened, you're quite sure of that?
Yeah.
The police don't think Teresa made up a story. Some of the cult members are to stand trial. 5 men have been charged with rape. As for Nan, the grandmother, she's 61 and lives in this council flat in South London. She's charged on 7 counts of aiding and abetting rape and 2 counts of performing abortions on Teresa. If you're finding this hard to believe, so did I at first. But then there are the medical reports, evidence of sustained sexual abuse. And there's this, a statement prepared for 60 Minutes by Teresa's psychiatrist. It says, "In my opinion, Teresa's account is not the product of a psychotic illness, nor the figment of a fertile imagination. I believe her to be telling the truth." We also took Teresa's story to this man, therapist Ray Wire. He reads a transcript of our interview and listens to her voice.
It's no dream.
Few people, if any, in Britain have counselled as many victims of satanic abuse or Satanists themselves as Ray Wire has. If there is an expert on satanic cults, it would have to be him. Do you believe Teresa's story?
I believe Teresa's story. It's exactly the same story as I've heard from men who says they've done it.
You've dealt with other cases like hers?
Yes.
21 cases like hers, he says, in the past 2 years alone.
Themes like they were put in boxes with spiders and worms, where they were trapped in fear, where there was a high use of excrement and urine, where there was talk of human sacrifice.
Take just one of those rituals, putting children in boxes with spiders and worms. Now, listen to what Teresa told her mother.
And they had a coffin-like box that children were put in with spiders and snakes and the lid shut and left in there. I would have come out deranged. I could not have coped with that mentally at all.
You have evidence to back up stories like Teresa's, that this is really happening?
Well, we have that age of child, 6, 5 and 4, giving information that ties up with Teresa. How do those children know? How do those children able to describe rituals, to talk about ceremonies, to talk about sacrificing animals? How do those children know?
Nightmares, imagining it?
You can't imagine those things at 3 and 4 years old, and you also don't have the evidence of anal sex abuse and oral sex abuse and all that other abuse that clearly those children have experienced and endured.
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer.
What did they say about the devil, about Lucifer?
That killing the people made him happy.
Sacrifices to please the devil.
Now, as you've seen and heard from that horrific story, that children are also suffering at the hands of these satanic cults and those who are dabbling in the occult. And children should not have to endure sexual abuse or be parts of sadistic rituals. Now, that story is very heartbreaking. I'm going to be posting the link here if you want to just watch the entire video in its entirety, because I could not put all of it here. So, you know, I am just urging people, I'm going to put up a link for a petition so that we can get some laws created, because people should not have to be oppressed. People's lives should not be destroyed to the point where their children can't even go to school, or the point where they're being ostracized or attacked or persecuted. They can't work a normal job because people are attacking them, or they're being assaulted in their own homes. I feel like a prisoner sometimes in my own home, where people can come in here and do whatever they please, or I can't sleep at night without someone coming and astral projecting inside my home, or sending demons to assault me, violate me sexually, or violate my children, to the point where people have ruined my reputation, slandered my name, said I was crazy, even though these were spiritual attacks coming up against me and my family, to the point where I've lost my children. If you have gone through these type of damages and had your entire life destroyed, if you were in my shoes, you would want justice and you would want laws to prevent this from happening to anyone else or to happen to you again in the future. So this is why I'm urging people to please just sign this petition, just watch this video in detail and please share it. The eyes of the church needs to be open. We need to be aware of this, and I'm asking you to just, you know, do whatever you can to get this across, to spread this video and to make change. Thank you.